listening to the Mobcast Network.
Welcome to the Cult Movie Cantina. Woo!
Hello. Hello.
This is the podcast that looks at some of your favorite cult films, adds alcohol and beverage,
Me.
shows someone who's not seen them,
Hello.
and then we talk about it.
Yes.
I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by, as always,
Your Lady of Libations, Countess von Frankenberry. Stephanie is my real name, just in case you didn't know.
it's not on the lower third or anything.
It should be, Scotty.
It
We
is.
should talk to our editor.
We should talk to our editor.
We should talk to our editor.
I'll get on to him.
Justina, your jellicle jester.
She who knows no movies,
Admiral.
at your service.
At ease.
We're all low energy because this movie's a very low energy movie.
It really is.
Oh, shockingly low energy.
I was surprised too. So we saw Clerks 3 to finish out our Kevin Smith Clerks trilogy because we started with the first two because we knew 3 was coming, and we now have seen 3.
We have.
So that's what we're doing today. So we're going to talk about 3.
Awesome. Can we introduce our producer?
We can get there.
Oh, I thought we were there. I'm sorry.
No, we can get there. But yes, we're also joined by producer Caleb,
Hey,
number
everybody.
2.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
Number 2, my lord.
You can follow us on any podcast app. Please subscribe, rate, and like us because that helps out. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Cult Movie Cantina. You can see our smiling faces at youtube.com/Mobcast Network. And we're on the TikToks.
The
TikToks.
Because I'm old. At Mobcast. And so
We'll get on it, but we will not call it what it is.
you are not the boss of us. Tiki-talkies.
Tiki-taki.
Because they're run by China or something. I don't know. Whatever, like, boomers are talking about it. They're like, you can't get the TikToks because the Chinese will take over your mind.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know exactly how that
Well,
works.
if they want it, they're going to get your mind.
That's true.
They don't need the tiki-talkies.
I don't know if they want mine.
And what they do with my mind?
It's also not like American companies aren't already selling our information.
Right.
100%.
I
Right.
just want you guys to know that I have a package on the way from China. That's how much I care about the China ticket. It was cheaper.
You were
than
like, bring
a
it
package
on.
that I needed here.
Right. I got you.
That's
So, like I said, we did the 2022, the newest movie ever on our roster.
Yeah, brand new.
We did Clerks 3. Do you remember the last newest movie on our roster was? Like our last brand new movie we
Wasn't
did?
it Candyman 2?
We didn't do that on the podcast.
Oh, we didn't? Okay.
We talked about it. We all saw it together, but we didn't do it on the podcast.
Was
We-
it Hamilton?
No, but you almost said it.
Cats?
Cats was the last one we did.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was going
so-
to say Cats, and I was like, well, I don't
remember
know.
Cats, yeah.
I didn't know how soon after it came out we watched that.
All right. So Clerks 2, 3. 2, 3.
2, 3, 4.
Written and directed by Kevin Smith. Well, 2 also was written and directed by Kevin
Right.
Smith. Stars Brian O'Halloran as Dante, Jeff Anderson as Randall, Jason Mewes as Jay, Kevin Smith as Silent Bob, Trevor Furman as Elias, Austin Zodger as Blockchain Toll Train, and then Rosario Dawson as Becky, very briefly.
There you go.
Are you ready for some fun facts?
Yes. So I'm going to do this one a little differently.
Yeah.
Simply because the facts of the year have not been completed because we're still in it. I
9
would
months
like
in.
to add a fun fact after I tell you what we're doing. I should do that first. So we are going to do fun facts from 1922.
1922? Okay.
So 100 years ago.
Yeah.
okay.
Going-
I
when I
don't know who the sexiest man was.
They don't have that, but they do have Miss.
hold on.
Oh, wow.
Hold on.
So when I first started searching,
Hold on.
Your audio keeps cutting in and out.
Again.
Your cord just like that. A bit of a short.
Try it again.
No, I'll order a new cord.
He could have just asked me to do that from over there.
He's just doing a producer job. He's a good producer.
He
Go.
is.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Yep. You're good.
Better. Okay.
All right.
So when I started looking up the fun facts, I searched 1923 because I don't even know what year it is. The year is 1922. This is the year of America's first aircraft carrier, the USS Langley, was commissioned.
Nice.
All right. The 2-month-long railway shopmen's strike of 1922 began, affecting 400,000 workers.
We almost had a railroad strike again this year. How funny! 100 years later.
How funny.
That's crazy.
Who do you believe was probably the most famous person in America in 1922?
The president.
No.
No.
So 22.
Hmm.
Somebody in the mob. Because
No.
no.
Think more
Yeah, give me.
athletic.
Oh.
A boxer, but I can't remember his name.
I'm going to say no because I don't think he did that.
Okay.
Jim Thorpe.
No.
I'm gonna think baseball.
I think that's what he
Babe,
did.
Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth.
Yes.
Babe
I
Ruth.
was like, I'm pretty sure that's what he did.
Yeah,
But
Babe
I didn't
Ruth.
want
Yeah,
to,
he's
say
basically-
for
The
sure.
great Bambino.
Following that, not connected, maybe connected. The Rose Bowl Bowl Stadium officially opened in Pasadena, California
Yeah, that's
in
football.
1922.
Football.
This was the year of Coca-Cola's first ever polar bear print.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know it was that
It's
old.
been around for 100 years.
Wow. I thought the polar bears were new-ish. like
I
in
did
our
not finish
lifetime.
that fun fact. I'm sorry. Coca-Cola's first polar bear print advertisement appeared in France in 1922. So
Nice.
it might have been around longer. Who would you think the funny guy was from 1922? I have no way to give you hints on this other than letters. Because I don't know.
Are there C's in the name?
I love that you asked me a letter question. There is no C. You have a face to your hangman.
I mean,
Try
I know
again.
teams.
Will
from
Rogers.
like
No. Initials HL.
I know Laurel and Hardy. But
It's
I don't-
one person.
Okay.
HL. Oh,
Oh no.
Yeah, no.
It is Harold Lloyd.
oh
Oh.
yeah, yeah.
And then I
The
have
other
a
silent film guy.
random little snippet that was in these fun facts that is no longer really something that's accurate, but I wanted to put it in here because it made me happy. Betty White is older than sliced bread. Betty White was born in 1922 and sliced bread was introduced in 1928.
Yep.
Nice.
Mhm.
But she is no
Slice
longer
slice
alive.
bread still going strong. Betty
I know,
White,
it's
not so
gonna-
much.
It's going to pass her. It's going to surpass her. I'd like to switch on over to something that we can all play. What were the top 10 baby names in 1922?
Okay. 1922. We're gonna go with male or female, or does it matter?
I have lists of both, so whichever you'd like to start with.
Okay, I'm gonna go with women. We're gonna go Betty or Elizabeth.
Both are on here. Well done.
Mary,
Mary's on here.
Catholics.
I'm saying.
Jack or John?
John is on here. I don't see a Jack.
Harold.
It's a good one, but no.
Because
William.
Yeah, I mean,
William's on here.
George,
George is on here.
Let's see.
Walter,
No Walter.
Louise.
Louise is a good one. It's not on here.
There's a good one. That's
Thank
That's a
you.
good one.
Lewis.
Nope, no Lewis.
Abigail.
I like Abigail, but no.
Robert.
That's more like an 1823.
You said Robert?
Yeah, Robert.
Robert's on here.
Catherine.
No Catherine.
Rachel.
No Rachel.
Um,
We just announced one of the names attached to somebody else earlier. Plays baseball.
Oh, Ruth.
Ruth.
Ruth. I was gonna say.
Yeah, it wasn't Babe.
I was going Babe.
Because I was thinking the name earlier. It's not. It's either Charlie or Charles.
Charles is on here.
Okay.
Well done.
Nice.
So just to let you know the ones remaining, the women, we have Mary, Dorothy, Helen, Margaret, Ruth, Betty, Virginia, Mildred,
Mildred.
and
That is
Elizabeth.
definitely a 1920s
Yeah.
name.
John, Robert, William, James, Charles, George, Joseph, Edward, Richard, Frank. They're very like.
All the king names.
All the
Yeah,
Yeah.
kings and biblical names.
All right, Scotty.
Yes.
Who was Miss America in 1922?
Like the person who can't just name the state.
She's from Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, I can't name the person for the. I don't know.
He was gonna guess the state.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah,
I
I wasn't going
misunderstood.
to guess Ohio though, so
So you would have been wrong.
I would
It's
have.
Mary Catherine Campbell.
Mary Catherine, also a Catholic.
Yeah, that's very Catholic.
Fun fact.
Probably because they probably only let Catholics or Catholics and Protestants in it, and no Jews, no anybody
Right.
else.
Yeah, no.
They're very,
then.
they're very, very restrictive back in the day.
Probably.
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe that.
Mhm.
I was reading up a history of it a few months ago.
That's
I
interesting.
think he told us.
Yeah.
All right. So, fun fact: gummy bears were created in Germany in 1922.
Oh,
I didn't know
The-
gummy bears were German. Did you?
Yes,
100%.
100% I did. Matter of fact, the only brand that I buy is a German brand.
Which is?
That's the Haribo brand.
That's
It's
the
German.
Interesting.
I've got a bag of Haribo gummy bears at my desk right now.
Also, they have a Black Forest brand
Thought
that you can get.
Perfect.
Go.
She's very knowledgeable about gummy bears. It's because they're from Germany.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yep.
Mhm.
The British Broadcasting Company was established, or better known as the BBC, in 1922. I found this to be interesting and did not do research on it. So if it's incorrect, I will
Send your,
recant it.
send your hate mail to mopcastnetwork@gmail.com, addressed to Jellicle Jester.
We'll see what happens. The first ever 3D movie was The Power of Love, a silent film released in 1922. It was also the first film to have an alternate ending, and the viewer could choose between the happy and sad endings.
No, that's cool.
Both shot in 2D by closing one eye or the other. No copies exist.
So that's really hard to disprove.
I know, but when I saw that, I was like, that is probably one of the coolest fun facts I think I've ever found,
think
and
that's
I
cool.
want to do some research on it. I have just not had time today.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
fascinating.
pretty cool.
So I would like to look into that. If anybody has any knowledge on this, please reach out. How cool would it be to change the outcome just by closing an eye? Be
That's
like,
really
right
cool.
for happy, left for sad.
Back in the
Blue pill or red pill?
late 80s,
Well, really, yeah.
late 80s, they a couple studios toyed around with changing endings of the movie by audience vote.
And you could do it like live.
Live, so you had a remote, you click, and whatever percentage was that's which reel they showed.
That's interesting
Yeah.
too.
Problem is, you would have to then input. You would have to have every movie theater implement that.
Oh yeah, but
Like the system for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have to almost be delivered with it. Something deliverable.
see, now it's easier to do it. You just do it via cell phone. So.
Yeah.
True.
Uh,
All right. The term the Jazz Age was coined by F. Scott Fitzgerald in 1922, the same year that The Great Gatsby is based.
Mm-hmm.
Reader's Digest began publication in this year. All right, so there was a riot that I found interesting. The Straw Hat Riot of 1922 was an 8-day riot that occurred in New York City over men wearing straw hats past the unofficial date that was deemed socially acceptable, which is
Easter, I would imagine.
it's the end of the year. You can no longer wear it after the end, like a certain point at the end of the year.
Okay, certain point at the end of the year,
Think like
Labor Day.
kind of like purple. It's September 15th. So if you wore a straw hat after September 15th, it was
What do you
deemed
mean purple?
unacceptable.
I've never heard you can't
Like
wear
you're, or not purple. I'm sorry, white.
I was
White.
gonna
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
White. You can't wear white after Labor Day.
Yeah.
That was at least like what they say.
right.
Anyway, so I thought that was fascinating.
That is.
Nanook of the North, the first commercially successful full-length documentary film, was released on June 11th of 1922.
Fake.
Is that one
mhm.
fake?
Yeah,
That's a fake.
that's where the whole.
It's a fake documentary.
Yeah,
is what you're saying. I
there's
see.
some stuff in there.
It's fake. It's fake.
Now I want to look into that as well because I'm
I've seen
super
it.
fascinated.
Mhm.
How did you like it in
It's
general?
fine. It's fine.
Outside of the fact that it's fake.
I mean, it shows life as they wanted to show life
I see what you're saying.
of an Inuit guy up north, and it's like, hey, go do this, and instead of just like following them like a real documentary, they just got to do a lot of stuff.
I got you.
And they put it together, and they fictionalized a bunch of it.
All right. On August 4th of 1922, all telephone service in the U.S. and Canada was silenced for 1 minute to mark the funeral of Alexander Graham Bell.
Aw.
I know, isn't that nice? Everybody would lose their shit if they did that now.
Yeah.
If they were like, we're turning off for a minute, everybody would be like, where's my phone? Why is it not working?
So since we've recorded last, the Queen of England has died.
She has.
And so England's doing, like you mentioned, the BBC and made me think about this, and then this directly leads into this. But like all the channels in the BBC channels are all showing various things of the Queen or her funeral or her lying in state. There's a whole. It's like every channel is dedicated to it because it's written, and rightfully so. Except for BBC Five, which yesterday they showed the Emoji Movie. So it's like you see this whole list of like
Fantastic.
Queen, the Emoji Movie, Queen.
That's crazy.
BBC Five's like, we don't give a fuck.
But I mean, at some point, you need something else to watch.
It must be run by the Irish.
Hardcore. I mean, you guys know that I watch soccer, and on the weekends, the Premier League, we usually meet down at O'Daly's and watch Premier League. And last weekend, the Premier League canceled all soccer games.
Yeah,
because
they're pretty serious.
Yeah.
Well, she ruled for like 75 years.
Yeah, she did. So I only have one more thing, and then the board game of 1922.
Okay.
So the Broadway show, just because I find it fascinating, all the stuff from 1922, opened in on May 23rd of 1922 and closed October 1st of 1927. It was Abby's Irish Rose was the Broadway show of that time. So the board game of 1922, anybody want to guess? Anybody?
Monopoly.
No, but it wasn't too far from there.
Life.
Parcheesi.
No. I'm just going to tell you because I don't know if you guys are going to know it. It's called Across the Continent.
Oh.
Each player draws a list of cities that they must visit in sequence, which starts and ends at a particular city. Players roll the dice and move along their chosen routes to reach their target cities. Each time they throw doubles, they must draw a card. Most cards have a question about a state capital that rewards the player for answering correctly or punishes them for answering incorrectly.
So it's an educational game.
It seems interesting that that's set up that way. Occasionally, the cards have no question, but just advance the player's car to the next destination. The first player to reach all of their cities and return home is the winner. It was originally published in 1890, but was re-released in 1922.
Nice. All right.
So those are fun facts from 100 years ago.
All right, so we're going to get into this. Warning now, if you have not seen Clerks 3 and would like to, this is where you turn the episode off.
Okay, goodbye.
See you later.
We are going to spoil everything in this movie.
All of it.
All of it. So from here on, it's on you.
You have been warned. There are spoilers.
This is your spoiler warning. Brothers and sisters, gather round.
I'm gathered.
It's 15 years after the events of Clerks II, where Dante and Randall bought and still own the Quick Stop. Next door, Jay and Salabon own a marijuana dispensary. Elias and his friend Blockchain are trying to sell Randall on their new NFT kites. But Randall suffers a heart attack and is rushed to the hospital. Randall is informed that the kind of heart attack he has is called a widowmaker and that it has an 80% death rate, but he's in good hands with the doctor because she's good at what she does, and so he's going to survive, which he does.
Doesn't she also fix spacecraft?
She does.
I thought she did.
Which is funny when they're talking about the Mandalorian because she's in it.
I know.
Yep.
The doctor then warns Dante to watch out for Randall for depression and also that Dante needs to get checked out if he lives his life like Randall. While recovering, Randall realizes that his life is meaningless and that no one will mourn him when he's gone. Dante mentions that he thought Randall could make a great movie, and that inspires him to do just that. After being released, Randall writes a script and is pretty much a pain giving people roles in the shoot and pissing Dante off and making him a producer. He gets mad, storms off. Dante then visits the cemetery where he is visited by the spirit of Becky, his fiancée from Clerks II. She and their unborn daughter Grace were killed by a drunk driver, and Dante has been mourning them ever since. She tells him how awesome that the afterlife is, but he's in charge of his own book and his story's still being written. He decides she's right and he goes back to help Randall. They go through casting with various cameos of people Kevin Smith has worked with over the years, including Ben Affleck. Randall decides that everyone should just play themselves, and they go forth and remake Clerks in the most Kevin Smith of ways. Randall continues to be a large pain in the ass, and to the point where Dante yells at him and has a heart attack himself. In the hospital, Randall decides to leave and work on the movie, and Elias yells at him for leaving his friend, but Randall's all like, it's a heart attack, it's no big deal, and goes off to edit the film when he realizes it's a huge deal. Randall re-edits the movie and then sneaks into the ICU where he sees Dante on a respirator and shows him the movie on a laptop. Dante and Becky watch the movie together in a spiritual movie theater, and before the film is finished, Dante and Becky leave. Dante forgives his friend, and he knows that he's in good hands, and he knows what to do. He trusts him. The pair leave the theater, and Dante dies in the hospital. They have a funeral, and Randall elevates Elias to his new best friend. The last shot is a pullback from the counter with the spirit of Dante standing by Randall as we see Jay's daughter Millie checking the expiration dates on the milk. Credits.
I like that it was oat milk. Like, way to modernize it.
Right.
Still milkmaids, but now it's oat milk.
I didn't realize in the research. I didn't realize. I mean, I knew it was Harley playing that role. It's Kevin Smith's daughter
because he's a vegan now,
right? And so in the in Jay and Silent Bob reboot, Harley plays Jay's daughter, Millennium Falcon or whatever it comes out, but like Millie. And so it was good to see her cameo for that. But
so it's Kevin Smith's daughter, but she plays Jay's
Jay's
daughter.
daughter.
Plays Jay's daughter.
It's a quick sermon. It's a quick movie. It's like right at 2 hours, but there's not a lot of substance to it.
I mean, a lot of it's Clerk. It's like the behind the scenes of Clerks.
Right. So.
But it was much more serious than I expected, and it hit my soul, my heart and my soul.
Yeah, it hit. So
it's not.
Who wants to start really? Because
I don't know. I can just straight up say that it's not what I wanted to watch.
I'll give you that.
So, it's hard to. I mean, it's not what I wanted to watch. It's not what I wanted in this movie. It was. I think that I expected it to be like the making of Clerks. I mean, I expected a lot of the same goofy stuff, a lot of fan service.
But then that's all there,
right? Which is there. And I just expected that throughout the movie.
Right.
Just, you have Levi's, Kevin Smith movie. We had a good time. I did not care for the twist.
Right.
I just didn't like that. I number one, I was kind of like, wasn't crazy about killing off Becky, but I understood that because she's on to bigger, better things.
Right.
I get that. But when they killed Dante off, I was like, fuck this shit. I was not down with it.
Did we? I'm gonna have a question.
Sure.
Did we all?
Hold on. Your mic is this today.
Did we all kill Dante in the Screw, Marry, Kill from a couple weeks ago? Because we may have done this. Was this on us? Is this on us? Did we do this?
Oh, I did kill Dante.
I did kill Dante. I married Dante.
I think I killed Dante. I think ours was the same. So we killed him, but now we're upset about it.
I'm very upset
Bring him
about
back.
it. I mean, I didn't really mean to kill him.
We didn't know it was for real. We take it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I didn't even come up with that today because I'm irritated.
right, which is fine.
So, yeah.
I didn't mind the him dying because I felt that was part of the heart of the story. My real issue is more of how Randall dealt with it because it feels like Randall wasn't affected by it.
Oh, he was definitely affected.
Was he?
Yeah, I'm with Caleb on this one.
I don't know. Yeah, not a lot. He just kind of elevated new best
all
friend.
right, so
I still love Elias in this movie, though.
Oh, yeah,
Elias is hilarious.
Elias is the best part.
The turn for Elias for Clerks II, Elias is very, very Christian. And then when when Randall goes in the hospital and Elias is all worried about it, Elias
becomes
prayed,
Satan's concubine.
Yeah, Elias before the heart attack, Elias prayed that Randall, who had been picking on him, would be struck down by Jesus. And then that's when he has the heart attack. And then he realizes with great power comes great responsibility. He tries to beg Jesus to take it back, and he doesn't. So he switches sides and becomes a born-again Satanist. And,
Well, because after he prays to Satan, he's good.
Yeah.
He's like, well, Satan did it, so
So he becomes this born-again Satanist. Yeah. And so as the movie progresses, he gets more and more into it. It's like he becomes more and more gothy through the whole thing, which is
his makeup is on point,
which is so funny.
Like he's testing it all out.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole side story about Elias and his journey that we don't get, which
that would be a good movie.
Kevin Smith, if you want to make a short film, that you need to do that. I need to see that. I listen to Kevin Smith's podcast, and I listen to it every week, every time I do it. His co-host Mark Bernardin slipped out that Becky was killed, so I knew that going in.
Oh, you did?
So I knew that going in, and like with you, I get it. She is in 2 major Disney franchises. she can't keep working for like you get in the guild, you get so many like favor pays, like
Yeah.
where you like scale plus,
Mhm.
and you get so many of those. You can't just do those forever.
No, because
So-
you're not allowed to.
Right. So she's a $1 million actress, so she can't keep doing this for a couple of $1,000 for a day shoot. So I get it. So I get killing her off. I hate that they killed her off so early. I mean, I wish Dante had
At least had the child.
had the kid or something,
Yeah.
because Dante's very much a sad sack in this thing, and I don't like him being the sad sack.
Where it basically it almost feels like Clerks 2 ended, and that's when she just died immediately afterwards. The way
Oh, yeah,
it
Yeah,
was.
she was
'Cause she
pregnant.
looked like she was about to pop
Yeah.
at the end of Clerks 2.
Yeah.
So it had to have been like literally
Well,
immediately
in
after
a
that.
quick little flashback, we see her coming in the ER. She's got the belly, and
She's
got the movie outfit.
she's
And-
like at the end.
And isn't her tombstone isn't the year?
It's 2006.
Yeah, so
so
that's
they weren't engaged very
literally
long.
right after.
Yeah, they weren't engaged very long.
No, they got married. They got married before she had the baby,
No,
On the tombstone, it had his last name.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
were married.
Yeah,
like
no,
at the end of Clerks 2, they were
Yeah.
married.
Okay,
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it.
But they didn't get I think they probably just went and did a quick marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I
it
got
was probably like
implied.
yeah. So yeah, that she died like right after Clerks 2.
Did
Like-
something like that happen to Kevin Smith?
No.
I don't know his life.
So the only thing
He's-
happened to him was the heart attack. The heart attack's real.
Yeah.
And so here's my big problem with Clerks 3. I'm a Kevin Smith fan, and being a Kevin Smith fan, I watch his podcast, I watch his stand-up special, anything he's on, I listen
Right.
to. I've heard this story a million times, and so when he writes it in the movie, he literally writes it word for word. It's
Yeah.
like no, he's a writer. You change things up, he doesn't. So everything he said that the doctor says, Amy Sedaris says, is literally everything that he says his doctor tells him.
Yeah.
And so I've heard word for word. So I've heard every bit of that, like
The Widowmaker.
the Widowmaker bit, the whole thing. I've heard it all before on lots of podcasts that he's been on.
It
just-
profoundly affected him. The heart attack.
Right. The small dick stuff about wouldn't lower his pants and stuff, and they had to do it in the OR. All happened to him. Heard the whole story, and like he didn't change anything. Like dialogue from he was like, "Oh, I've already done this. I'll just transpose this," which is fine. And I know not everyone knows the story, but you still kind of tweak it a little.
Yeah.
for your like avid followers,
Right, 'cause
because they know.
Because they're the ones who, I mean, he doesn't, this movie's not released. This movie doesn't have a wide release. It has a Fathom release, and he's touring it like William Castle did back in the 50s. So he's doing a live tour
Right.
with it. So his fans are going to see it, not the general masses. So they know the story. So it's like, tweak it.
Yeah. Maybe.
And they won't get mad at you.
Maybe
for
it was
changing.
just important to him
Oh,
for it to be in there. Yeah.
I'm
Like
not
that.
saying not put it in there, but just like
Add
Take it a little
something.
bit.
like it's
Don't take away. Add something.
right. It's literally word for word that
Right.
he's been saying for the last 4 years.
Right.
So it's just like I was really kind of surprised by that. How like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing. All right.
I found it interesting, I guess, because I didn't know in the context of Randall and Dante, I didn't realize he resonated with Randall. I don't know, because I guess Dante's the one that seems like he holds everything together. I assumed that in that context, Kevin Smith was the Dante.
Well,
I think he's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
of
he's a
them.
little both.
And Randall is, what happened to him, and Dante is what could have happened to him.
So I meant like through all the stories.
right.
Yeah.
But this one, it felt like because of it's word for word what was told to him, and then Randall's the one that wants to make the movie, and Randall's the one that fights for it. It just felt like he was throwing himself at Randall. Like,
Well, originally in Clerks 1, he cast himself as Randall.
so I want was that is that based off of him?
Yes.
Like everything he does, the way he's on
Right. Right.
So watching it though, I always envisioned Dante to be the Kevin Smith.
Me too. I always thought he'd be a nicer person.
Yeah, not necessarily that. It's
I think he's
just
an-
like to get where he was and to have made the movie and do all that. Like, there was a
I don't think he was. I mean, I don't know the guy and especially didn't know him back then. So, I mean, he probably was a little shit back then,
Yeah.
and just I mean, it seems like everyone seems to like working with him, and he has this core group of people.
Did he have a Dante?
I'm not sure.
Because now it's interesting to know, did he have someone? Because at the end, when he's watching the movie, he said you were in this, you were the heart of everything.
Well, he got.
Did he have a person that did die that was with him through everything?
No.
He hasn't had
Or if
any
he's-
kind of major.
And if he had, he's never mentioned it, and that's really, really unlike
him.
Kevin
Yeah.
Smith to not mention anything.
The
that's
most
happened in his life.
traumatic thing in his life has been his heart attack.
Right.
No, I know that. I just don't know, like, if he had that while he was like younger, like maybe they passed away when he was younger, like
Yeah,
somebody
he
that was
would've
there
mentioned
with
it.
him.
Maybe, but like I said, he hasn't mentioned it.
It's interesting.
So, because Kevin Smith originally, when he went to go get the job, he wanted a job at the RST Video, and they said, "Oh, you've got convenience store experience. We'll hire you at the video store but just no, you'll have to work at the convenience store a couple of days a week." And he said, "That's fine." Turned out he had to work. He never worked the video store. He always worked at the convenience store.
There you go.
I mean,
Bait and switch.
yeah, he just said that. He just talked about that on Pete Holmes' podcast this week. So, the other thing I don't like about this film is it was a lot of, hey, remember this from this thing that we've done?
Yeah.
It's a lot of Easter eggs.
Too much of that.
There's a lot, and which is Easter eggs I normally like, but we just had a whole movie full of Easter eggs. Jane Silent Bob Reboot is an Easter egg movie.
It is.
And it's just full of Easter eggs. And so it's like, now it's Kevin Smith doing, all right, here's part of my life, and I'll fill in the rest of the plot with Easter eggs because I don't need to do substance. And I'm like, you kind of need to do substance.
I do agree that I don't think Randall had a big enough shift at the end.
Oh, so
yeah,
my third thing. Randall doesn't learn a lesson.
No, he doesn't have an arc. He doesn't have a character arc.
He doesn't change. He doesn't learn a lesson. His best friend dies basically in front of him in anger.
Right.
And he has a brief moment where he gets to show him this movie, which is a very sweet and tender moment.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Probably the nicest thing Randall's ever done.
Right. But we see Dante forgive him.
Right.
Randall never sees this because he's not there. He's not
Right.
present in the spirit world, or he's not at the movie theater. And so all Randall knows is that the last things he said to him were hateful.
Mm-hmm.
They were in anger. And even as he comes back to say, "Hey, buddy, this movie's all about you," and then he dies.
Right.
And so it's like, and at the end of the movie, I look at Randall like Randall doesn't grow. There's no growth in Randall.
No. Which is also interesting if Kevin Smith sees himself as Randall, because that heart attack changed his whole life.
Right.
And he altered everything he does. So why wouldn't Randall have a bigger transition?
Right.
Because he's Randall. I think it's because it's Randall. I mean, but it is kind of disturbing how easily his best friend could be replaced.
Yep.
With Elias, Oh, you're my new best friend now.
I said that in Clerks too, so obviously it's here. Haha.
So it's real interesting about it. I mean, Clerks 1, 2, and 3 follow the same pattern. There's always a fight between Randall and Dante. In all three films. In fact, Clerks 3, the big fight happens during the big fight when they're shooting the big fight.
Yeah,
scene that leads up to the big fight scene in Clerks 1. So it all comes full circle. So criticism aside, I think it's bold choice to kill Dante, and I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% on board, but I'm not 100% against it because I think it's beautifully done. I think the reuniting him and Becky in the movie theater is fantastic. Yeah. I love the fact that we watch them make Clerks when they're all in their 50s.
Yeah.
And then they show the movie.
And they're young again.
It's the original.
It's
your Clerks.
It's the original Clerks.
Beautiful. I know you don't cry at movies. I was a mess. You said about me. I was a mess during this movie. And so the thing that gets me the most, the one that floored me, was at the funeral when Dante says, "I want to quote The Departed." No, not the Scorsese film, but Dante. He's not supposed to be here today.
Oh, yeah.
I was a mess. Tears down my face. I was a mess. Oh, well written. It's probably, I think it's the strongest third act he's ever written in anything. It's moving and fun, it's silly at the end. They have to tie up the weird knot where Dante gets the money from the move from his wife, from Emily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tie it up real quick with the NFT thing, but whatever.
Yeah. So walking out, I was more positive than negative. I was probably the most positive out of everybody walking out at the time. I didn't get Justina's
Reviews have been
opinions.
real mixed.
Yeah.
It's been real mixed.
But having some time to sit, I'd say I like 2/3. I like the first act and the third act. The second act is fine, but that's where it's kind of like it's just them making Clerks 1. So like I like the new stuff. I like the heart that's in Act 1 and 3. Personally.
I think Randall should have died.
Yeah. I agree with Caleb on that because it was almost like it was almost like I was ready for the second act to be done with because it's like I've seen this all before, been here, done that.
Right.
You know, it was one of those like.
And I get it. That's what we were sold on the movie being.
See, I thought the switch was going to happen where Randall's showing Dante the movie, and it's actually Dante dying. I mean, Randall dying, not Dante.
Yeah.
I thought the switch would happen there, and when they're like, "Shit, this movie's all about you," as Randall never been able to tell Dante how much he cares. That's more moving.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm with you. Randall should have died.
I think that's what I'm
agree.
talking about is like in that moment, because here's the thing. It kind of goes against everything that Dante experienced in the movie because Becky spoke to him. And when she did, it was like, you're still telling your story. Go tell it. And then he dies.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a call to action that he can never fulfill because he dies. So the shift should have been like Randall should have taken the movie because he understands the importance of Dante's the heart. And Randall, I mean, he just had a heart attack. So it should have been like he died with him and then Dante got better. And then to see Dante live his life without that crutch.
Right.
Because that's part of his thing is like he's always had to take care of his best friend
Right.
who's irresponsible. So what are you going to do? And then that could have been the Dante transitioning into Kevin Smith.
That would have been much better.
As much like the Kevin Smith we know. Like
Maybe.
he made this movie and then look at what he's done. So this could have been him going, I see the power of what he's doing. I want to do that and continue that.
Mhm.
And then he could have lived his life. Boom, done. Credits.
So the thing
You're welcome.
the thing I can't shake, and the biggest rock that's on this movie for me.
Is it the kites?
No, kites or whatever. He does NFTs. I get it. But the when Dante is yelling at Randall before Dante's heart attack, and he says to him, "Do you know?" Because they're basically filming the story of Clerks, which is the story of their lives together.
Right.
And Clerks and Clerks, they're actually it's Clerks and Clerks 2 together. They mix the two stories because they're trying to shoot the donkey show. But he says, "Don't you think I don't want to relive my life?" And what's the very last thing he makes him do?
Relive
His life. And then Dante is okay with that. And I'm like, I don't know if he would be.
Yeah.
Even with Becky there.
Yeah.
It's a heavy thing for me
It
to watch
is.
that. And like I get it. I mean, it's also heavy for me because I'm getting close to their age and mortality is kind of a thing. So that weighs on me watching this as well. But it's like I'm not sure if I'm satisfied. And then I'm like, it's the weakest of the three where it could have been the strongest of the three, even with the deaths. It's just at the end of the day,
It felt thrown together.
it's very lazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It felt thrown together. It literally felt thrown together.
It's also
like,
the one. It's also the one where it feels like Randall is the worst of a friend. Like this is literally him at his worst.
But here's the thing, you know, I'm a huge fan of Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
He's made, in my opinion, some beautiful movies.
Mm-hmm.
For me, you
Right,
know,
absolutely.
movies that and he has, you know, decades of experience now.
Right.
And this felt like somebody's first movie.
Yeah. The
You know, it was
the way
just,
it looks is definitely a regression.
I don't know. You're right. It's lazy. It's very lazy.
We saw this with our friend Pablo, who's been on the last 2 episodes with us, but unfortunately he's not feeling well, so he couldn't join us. But he brought up something when we were talking outside after you both left, and it was like, what this movie needed was Scott Mosier, who has been his producing partner for most of his films. So from Clerks until Zack and Miri Make a Porno, he's with Scott Mosier, who kind of reins Kevin in,
right,
and
guides
Kevin those movies seem to have more heart than the rest of them. So you get Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob, Strike Back, Dogma,
Jersey
Girls in this,
And then
Clerks 2,
Yep.
and then there's Zack and Miri. I think I'm missing one, but that's pretty much what that is. And then Scott Mosier leaves to go do his own thing after that. And then since then we've gotten Red State, Tusk,
Yoga
Hosers,
super groovy cartoon movie.
Yeah, well, it's not theatrical. It's not really,
theatrical.
And then we get
Reboot,
and Clerks 3, and it's like
and Kilroy,
and they're not
Kilroy,
great
which I've not
movies.
seen yet. Which I've not seen because I don't think Kilroy's the NFT movie. I don't think it's been a wide release yet.
No,
and so they're like Tusk is fun and creepy. I like Tusk, but it's not great. I love Yoga Hosers. It's not a great movie.
Yeah,
but it's funny because he's like no one gets in the movie. No one gets in the movie to make Kevin Smith films, and like. There's definitely two eras for Kevin Smith. From Clerks to Zack and Miri are kind of these budgeted films. He does cop out between them too. The cop outs, but that's a work for hire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so
didn't he do a Daredevil too? One of the Daredevil movies?
No. He wrote Daredevil comics.
Oh, okay.
And
it seems I thought for whatever reason
he's been directing a lot of like CW DC TV shows and stuff. So between the time, I mean, he's a working director. As he says, he lives very hand to mouth.
He's done a few Flash stuff and Supergirl.
Like the money he's made has not been from making movies and TV shows. It's because it's all from the merchandising. He's really good at merchandising. Just so he's smart at that. I just don't know. I think he needs Scott Mosier. I think Scott Mosier would have made this movie better. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no heart in this movie. And it's not clever. My review for TikTok, I said this movie's not nearly. It's not as raw as Clerks, nor is it as clever. It's not as sharp as Clerks 2, nor does it have its heart.
Right.
It's just it's just a movie that just kind of exists. I mean, I give it 2.5 Scotties. So
2.5 Scotties.
Oh, you haven't seen my TikToks where I do I have Scotties. So I do because it's me and I'm vain.
Yep.
I don't have TikTok because the one time I did have it, hours went by. And I accomplished nothing in life. And I am way too busy for that. So I cannot do. I had to have a moment. I had it for like a week.
So I do TikTok. We have you're actually on our TikToks.
Well, you're welcome, world. You get to see me, and I do not.
But no, I said stars or whatever. I just use because Emily did that.
So it's out of how many?
4, and
okay. So
that'd be funny
still
for him to have
higher.
little Scotty dogs.
That's still higher than I thought.
Right,
because my mom was surprised because she was like, "Yeah, he gave it 2." Because my mom watches, and so she was like, "Oh, he only gave it 2.5." And
yeah,
like
that's probably about 2.5's about right.
Yeah, and it's
out of 4.
In my review, I
it's
said
like 7.5.
Out of 4. Out of 4.
So it's like a 7.5.
And so I
would give it 2.
No,
I don't know if I would have given it the half.
No, I give it a half just for the third act.
No, well,
I seriously said it's a 2 Scotty. So first thing he said in the review, it's a 2 Scotty movie.
That's a 62.5.
Okay.
So it's like it's a 5.5 or 6 in a 10 star scale.
Yeah.
It's a half a good movie, and it gets that because you get the nostalgia. It's funny.
Yeah.
Look, it's not great, but it's funny when it needs to be. The character, it's good to see these people.
Yeah, it is.
And I think the ending is sad and emotional. It does what it accomplishes. It's just at the end of the day,
there's just some bumps on the road.
I don't understand why Randall doesn't learn anything, and it's like it's not real, but that's how real works. I don't know how to really explain it because I'm really disturbed by the fact that he doesn't learn anything.
Yeah, it's an issue. Like if anything, that should have been the moment that he did learn.
Right.
Like it took your best friend dying for you to grow up.
Right.
Yeah, because that's kind of his overall arc throughout all 3 films. That he doesn't grow. Like he usually is. Like he becomes a better friend in the first 2 films, but he doesn't change
a little bit. I mean, like he became a business owner.
Yeah.
Like he grows a little bit. Where
but
it's like,
Dante does all that work.
No, he does all the work, but he has to have the drive to do it.
Oh
too,
yeah.
So I mean, I feel like there is a little bit of growth in each one of them, a little bit. But this one, it just felt like he didn't grow, and then he just replaced his best friend. Like, what did he learn?
I just don't think. it's a regression. It's a regression for everybody.
Absolutely.
And I buy Dante's regression. If you're gonna kill Becky off that early,
Yeah.
and he's lost. I mean, the moment he had because he almost escaped Jersey with Emma, decides not to because he's in love with Becky. He gets what he wants, and it's taken away from him. So I get him in mourning. I get that.
But 15 years later, I get it. But also 15 years later.
But he's the guy who shits and get off spot.
And not even just that. He hangs out with a guy who doesn't grow or change.
Right.
So,
see, like you say, like Randall has to get up and do that too, but it's not that he has no drive. It's comfort for him.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to make the quick start better. He just wants to have it so it's a job. It's
right.
So like Quick Stop closes in a year, right? It doesn't stay open.
Yeah. I mean,
Randall, there's no way Randall keeps Quick Stop open.
I mean,
that would be an interesting next movie.
Elias can't keep it open either. You've got Elias and Randall running.
I mean, we know RST Video shut down, so why not the Quick Stop as well?
Right.
Well, that's because people don't rent videos anymore.
Right.
But,
So
but there are still mom and pop shops every now and then.
That's one thing we have not talked about.
Yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah,
Let's talk about actual Kevin Smith and the Kevin Smith.
And
I love this
and I
so
actually want to bring this up. I did want to talk about this specifically because you had to leave, you missed and I almost missed the behind the scenes stuff that they did after the film.
Oh so at the during the credits, I think you missed this too.
I missed the during the credits.
So during the credits, Kevin Smith talks to everybody.
Yeah.
And
I came back in at the end.
Yeah.
But during the credits.
So during the credits, he talked. It's just audio. It's just audio over the credits. It's the last audio cue, so it's no music. It's just him talking about, hey, basically thanking everybody for coming to see the movie. It's really, really sweet. But then he goes, I originally wanted to put a narration at the end with the pullback, and it was going to be like a news article of from the film, like the Cannes Film Festival or something about Randall, how Randall kept making movies. And working at the Quick Start well into his 90s, and the quote goes. He says, when asked about it, he said, "What makes your movies good or whatever?" He goes, "Well, it's the fucking customers." At the end of the day, and Kevin Smith's like, "Yeah, it's the fucking customers. It's you guys. We make these movies because you keep seeing them. We enjoy making them." And so it's a very sweet moment. And then there's a whole behind the scenes.
Yeah, so
the whole behind the scenes.
I wanted to bring up the behind the scenes because he talks about how he didn't want to make Jay and Silent Bob such a big part of the film. But you did. That's my problem. It's bigger than he makes it sound like.
They're not really that big in the film.
No, I think they're actually smaller in Clerks 3 than they are in the other two.
I agree.
I agree with that.
Yeah, they weren't very big at all in this film.
My favorite part was him not dancing until everybody went away.
Yeah,
he was like, you
a great
too.
part.
And he was like, who's going to hit the... Just
Which,
ahead.
fun fact, we mentioned it in the trivia. And then for Clerks, it really happened.
Yep.
And so... I was hoping for a goodbye horses moment.
Oh yeah, that would have been funny.
Because which is funny. See, again, it's a regression. If Jay will go out and do Goodbye Horses and Clerks 2, and then is afraid to dance in front of people,
Yeah,
and for this
Right.
3,
it's weird.
it doesn't make sense.
No.
I know it really happened, but it doesn't make sense for progression.
Yeah.
It's just these little nuance, little
Right.
weird stuff.
Right.
Just throws this whole movie off. I do like making Silent Bob the cinematographer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
And his one big speech is about cinema. It's really funny. And we're shooting this in black and white, and this is why. And that was funny. I liked Blockchain, Elias' Silent Bob, who is Harley Quinn's boyfriend.
Oh, is that who that was?
That's Harley Quinn's real life. And Kevin Smith loves him and keeps calling him his future son-in-law. He moved in with them during the pandemic.
Okay.
So they all lived together because Harley. He didn't want to see Harley separate.
Well, Harley's got her own house now.
Yeah, well, this is
before.
Yeah, during the pandemic, they all lived together.
That's crazy.
And so, it's really interesting seeing Harley there because Harley didn't know Dante, but I guess Jay was like, "Come see your uncle Dante." I don't know what.
That's so weird. So weird.
I also like the cameos during the auditions.
Yeah.
I did too.
That was funny. That was fun.
Like, have you considered making it a musical? It could be a dance number.
Well, I was joking because when we got out, I was like, okay, so we got our Ahsoka, but we also got our Kanan and Seventh Sister from Rebels because Freddie Prinze Jr. and
Oh, interesting.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar, aka Buffy.
I would say Buffy.
But she
I
was
have
also
yet
Seventh
to
Sister and
watch.
also Freddie Prinze Jr.'s wife.
She's
Mhm.
Buffy.
Let's move on to.
I know her from Scooby Doo.
You ready for our libation?
I'm ready.
Her and
Yeah,
him
we'll
were in
talk this movie to
Scooby Doo
death.
together, and that's where I know them from.
All right. So I had kind of a hard time coming up with libation for this movie, only because, I had done the liquid marijuana, the first one for the Clerks one, because,
And the purple cow for the second one.
the weed references, and then the purple cow because of movies. There's not a lot of alcohol at all in these movies, so
Mhm.
nothing really to.
Because he's not a drinker.
He's not a drinker.
He's a pot smoker.
He's a pot smoker. So I'm thinking, okay, so try to find something kind of that would work. And there's a lot of hospital scenes. And what do people drink in hospitals?
Coffee.
Right.
Please tell me you brought something with coffee. Oh my God. Oh, that's what I need.
Justina just found religion.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
I'm going to put some ice in these cups.
I'm so excited. Please continue.
And what I have done is we're doing my version of an iced coffee.
Okay.
I would offer some to you, but you won't drink it because it's all alcohol. There's no non-alcohol anything in
Yeah, I'm good.
here.
Even
Have you met me?
better.
Have you met me?
Scotty's like, can I just have some of the black coffee, please? Oh, no, there's no coffee.
I don't
It's
drink
just
coffee either,
pretend
so it's like coffee and liquor. I'm like,
I mean, there's coffee in here, but it's
doesn't matter.
liquor.
coffee liqueur.
Yeah.
Kahlua.
No,
Thomas is standing up. He's ready.
no. Justina's going to be very excited about this.
I'm already excited. It doesn't matter. I'm so excited. I was concerned by what would come out of the movie in the drink fashion because the movie felt meh. I don't want to meh drink.
Justina, let me introduce you to Guinness Nitro Cold Brew Coffee.
Yes. Yes.
Justina, let me introduce you to our topper, Jameson Cold Brew.
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Jameson.
Hello, my old friend. Calm down there, buddy. Calm down there. We need you in the glass. I hope you all know that when we leave the reception after the wedding, one of the stops is O'Daly's for car bombs.
I'll do a
So,
car bomb on your wedding.
Like, that's the big thing about us doing the whole wedding thing is we do the scoot skate.
I'll
And we
do a
would-
car bomb on your wedding and not on your wedding.
Is we would
I only drink
do
on
that.
special
We would
occasions,
just
so.
make stops. And one of the stops was we'd always go into O'Daly's and get car bombs. And we would
I
just
do
do
like
a car
our-
bomb and then skate some more and come back and do another one.
I do like their car bombs.
They're good. They're not as good other places. Everybody enjoy your coffee. Yes.
Is it delightful?
And
Yes.
it's screwball.
It does need some screwball. I have to do that next
Well, yeah,
time, but
I
it's
guess
pretty
I'm
good
gonna-
though.
I guess I'm gonna start building a bar here. Got room for it.
Yes, because
Yes,
I know-
I'm gonna have to start building a bar here. Where have you been, Scotty?
Let's put it this way, Scotty. I have no more room for bottles at my house. I have so much liquor just from this show.
You're
Stuff
welcome.
that I don't drink. Yeah, I don't drink at home. I will reuse it for drinks, but yeah, or friends. But at home, I drink bourbon.
Yeah.
I've got my bourbon at home.
Mhm.
Jamie drinks his rum,
Right.
so I've got a shit ton of
liqueurs and mixers
and this and that and whatever else.
Well,
And
guess we'll put a bar in here.
there you go.
All right, bar
We're
trivia.
gonna need a good
Speaking of
walk.
bars,
All right.
Yes, please.
so talking about cameos, so we have Fred Armisen from SNL,
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Yep.
Buffy, Ben Affleck.
Scooby-Doo.
All make appearances as actors auditioning for Randall's film. This film marks Gellar's first theatrical live-action film in 13 years.
She was looking a little rough.
She's our age, so we're all looking there,
Right.
getting there.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I think
Right,
she
Caleb.
looks-
Air high five.
I think she looks
I'd say
fine.
I think I look
I
pretty
also-
damn good for my age.
I also think Sarah Michelle Gellar still looks amazing.
No,
Personally.
she looks amazing. I guess I wasn't expecting her to be as aged.
Well, when you haven't seen them in so long,
Right, I
and you see them
haven't.
again,
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
that's what it
time
was.
has
I
passed.
was kind of shocked. I'm like, she looks like she's my age, and she is my age.
They started filming this. Actually, she's my age, so she's
5 years.
She's 45.
different. When
Yeah,
I
she's 45.
when I say my
think,
age,
I
like,
think her birthday's right before mine.
it's like right there. She's in
'Cause
our age range.
I first fell in love with her on All My Children. We've talked about this before when she was
Mhm.
Kendall Kane. I was like,
I fell in love with her on Buffy.
Scooby Doo. That's what I know her from. I will keep saying it. I can
This film
see
began. This movie began filming on Kim Smith's 51st birthday.
All right.
Part of the film's plot involved Dante and Randall making a movie at the Quick Stop. Was also going to be the plot of a planned Clerks animated movie based on a short-lived TV series. It was titled Clerk Sellout, which never was produced.
I'm sad we didn't get another donkey show.
That's true.
They tried.
The first of the Clerks films not to be photographed by David Klein. Dave Klein is busy doing Disney stuff, so he filmed the Book of Boba Fett and some episodes of The Mandalorian. He's working on Mandalorian now, actually. Speaking of the Mandalorian, during the heart attack operations of Randals tells Dr. Landheim, Amy Sedaris, about the Disney Plus show The Mandalorian. On the show, Sedaris plays the character Peli Motto in a recurring role, which I thought was kind of funny.
I did. I thought.
I like that she showed up as a witch.
I know.
She's like, I'm your doctor. I'm gonna take care of you.
Not gonna make it. She's so funny. Uses the actual Quick Stop Groceries location, which from its first Clerks film in New Jersey, which is now run by the son of the original owner. Unlike the first film, which could only be shot at night, hence why the shutters were jammed, the store was closed for 2 weeks, which allowed for scenes to be shot during the day. Previously, the Quick Shop location in Jay's Alibi reboot was a facade built in New Orleans, which had a bigger parking lot and different surroundings. And now Ken Smith owns the. I don't know if he owns the building or he owns half the building or whatever, but he's got Smod Castle. So it's Quick Stop, RST Video, which is not open anymore. And then there's this other offices that he owns now because he has a podcast.
They're just keeping RST up there for nostalgia.
I think so. Can't tell you how much this movie made because it's a Fathom event and they don't release that. That's also the first week. But I can tell you its budget. Or you want to guess its budget?
$15 million.
15?
$1 million.
5 million.
7.
Okay.
All
right. But I can, and we can't do the top movies of the weekend because the weekend's still happening.
Yep.
But we can do the top 5 movies of 2022 as of now.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know what came out this year, Scotty. Clerks. No, I can't.
All right.
Take that back.
All right.
Take that back.
Going from number 5. Number 5 is a spinoff of a kids franchise. That is not a Disney movie.
Literally, all I can think about are gummy bears right now.
A kids franchise.
That
would be Minions: Rise of Gru.
Yeah.
Oh, look at there, the Minions. Yes.
Hey.
Look at you with an animated film.
Yeah.
Only because my husband is obsessed with Minions. And
Because you have a child. You have a man child.
I have a man child.
Number 4
Are you a man child?
is a superhero movie.
Doctor Strange.
No.
Is it the Thor one? The new Thor one?
The new Thor: Love and Thunder.
No. Is it MCU?
I'm so out of it. I don't even know what
I don't
know.
came out.
I was about to say, I think we ran out of MCU
Is there a
films.
Spider-Man, a Superman, a Batman?
Oh, you said one of them.
Oh, Batman.
The Batman's number 4.
The
I didn't know
Batman.
there was a Batman.
That's a
movie that came
terrible
out.
movie.
Yes, still made yes, it is a terrible movie. It made
Oh
a lot
my
of money.
god! I'm like, really?
It's a boring and dumb.
I
It
just
should not
went through
exist.
the
Oh wow!
generics.
The
Okay.
best part in it is the penguin.
The Penguin's the
Farrell's-
best part in all of them.
Colin Farrell's amazing. in this
Yeah,
movie.
he's good. All right.
Number 3 is another science fiction franchise. And yes, it's science fiction because we've argued about it being science fiction before.
I don't
Oh,
remember that
Lord.
argument.
Have I seen it?
Probably not.
No.
Uh,
Is it that Predator movie?
No.
no, because that wasn't theatrical.
Okay.
Which is a damn shame. Probably should
Yeah.
have been on the movie.
Yeah,
That
that, should
would've
have
been a
been
good
a
movie in
theatrical
the
release.
I'd love to see it. I was hoping they'd push it in theaters for a weekend. I don't know
Okay, so it's
Um,
science fiction.
why. Chris Pratt's in it.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic
Oh,
Park.
Jurassic Park, yeah.
Dominion. Oh, yeah, Dominions.
Dominion.
Yeah.
Number 2, also a superhero movie.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Yeah.
What's the number one movie of the year?
Elvis.
Elvis is like number 11.
I want Elvis to be
wow.
higher, so I'm just gonna keep.
I liked Elvis. Enjoyed it.
Number one movie of the year is Maverick.
Yes, Top Gun
I
Maverick.
haven't seen it yet.
Top Gun Maverick.
Duh.
I haven't seen that or Jurassic Park yet. I forgot about.
I've
Jurassic
seen-
Park.
I've seen most of those.
Jamie alone brought it to number one.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they should send him royalties.
He's so proud of himself.
You know, we went to Pensacola the other week and saw it in the IMAX, right? 'Cause I'm not lying. He wanted to go. Literally saw that they were showing it in the IMAX in Pensacola still, and we've got to see this in the IMAX.
Well, don't tell him about 4D. You may go fly to a 4D theater. and see
Let
it
me
in
tell
4D.
you. Do you know for me? I mean, the screen's big, but the only difference is when the planes fly by, the seat rumbles a little bit because of the sound system they use.
Right.
That was the only difference for me. That was it. Oh, and they sold alcohol at this particular theater, so that was nice. It was an AMC,
Right.
but they have a bar.
Yeah.
So I was in it for the bar.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had a gin drink with aviator gin in it. You know, that stuff that Ryan Reynolds owns.
Yep.
It was pretty tasty.
So that's Clerks 3. Would you recommend it?
For if you are a Kevin Smith fan, yes, you need to see it.
That's what I was going to
Just because if you don't know anything, if I was talking to someone who does not watch Kevin Smith movies, I would say no.
Yeah,
Not.
you already have to be a Clerks or Kevin Smith fan or both.
I mean, unless you're in a podcast where you force like your best friend to see movies out of order. I mean,
But yeah, I mean, seriously, that's
otherwise, I mean, it's an okay movie. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's okay.
I think it still has a lot of heart, even if there's other issues with it.
Watch it when it comes to streaming. Don't pay a lot for it. It's definitely not a $20 movie. Wait till it's either free or $5 or whatever. You want to Kevin Smith some money.
pretty much.
If somebody approached me about this film, I'd probably say, "I just watched the first one." Hands down, the first one's still my favorite.
Bro,
Second one's my favorite.
so two's still for me.
I love the first one.
I think I like how much you can take away from the first one.
Mhm.
I tend to like independent films better in general
Right,
because I
absolutely.
feel like they're more creative, they're more imaginative, and they're more original.
Yeah. I just think that for me, the second one, I laughed more in. I mean, I had more fun watching the second one, but the first one is very important. I mean,
I like Clerks 2 builds upon its lore. Clerks 3 regresses all that.
yeah.
So
It does.
Mhm.
So I would just probably tell
like,
people
meh.
just watch the first one and save yourself the heartache.
Yeah.
It's not worth the heartache.
Caleb,
Randall,
Like I
should die.
said, if you like Clerks 1 or Clerks in general, and you like Kevin Smith films, then sure, go for it. You might come out mixed opinion wise, but I thought it's fine.
what's it doing on Rotten Tomatoes? Can you look that up? See how it's doing?
Yeah,
on
I
Rotten
got you.
Will we be able to talk to Kevin Smith about this and like ask him questions? Because I've got questions.
When you go see him, be like, "We have questions
like
about Clerks
the,
3."
like the one in Atlanta. Like,
It
does he have a?
Yeah, it's Q&A. It's
Okay.
Q&A.
Oh, well, so it is I'm just going to do the audience one because that's the one people care about more.
Oh, obviously with the reviews too. I want both.
Critically, it's a 65, so
Yeah.
it's still fresh.
Yeah.
And audience, it's actually a 95.
Really?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep.
I can see it. Bring a tissue unless you're Stephanie. She
Yeah, I was about to say, bring it to
There's a movie that I cry during. So
just a
That's
movie.
fine.
a
Yeah.
single movie.
one single movie so far that I've cried during, and
I
I,
know we
cry
talked
every
about it
single
before.
time.
What was it?
Color Purple? It's
Yeah.
at the end.
I mean, which
every
is not
time at the
it's
end.
not a bad movie to cry
Yeah, I
to.
cried.
Let me tell you, at the end
I
when
have
the
to watch
kids
that
come
movie.
back,
Oh.
when oh my god, I am like got snot
Yeah.
running down my face, and the
They
whole
start doing the hand thing.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just-
It's like, Mama, no. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna just
Ugh.
melt. Yeah, I don't know why it just gets.
and then I'm
me
gonna go
every
find
time.
some tissues. This is guy saying.
Both of you. My goodness.
This is guy saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours.
Goodbye.
Bye.